So, good morning guys. I'd like to share with you how it's like to check out your plants living in a very tightly jam-packed garden. So, this is a coconut grove, and right next to it is it's an Ainanta hybrid which has no name. But I am lucky enough to have this because among my Ainanta hybrids, this one produces little bracts. So that's strange for an Ainanta hybrid. And we have here an Ainanta Van Hining GI. Van Hining GI. So that's how you say it. Van Hining GI. Okay. And then we have here a Capitata Yellow X Druid. So this is one of my early Dophitas hybrids, but until now I have yet to see how the mature plants look like. And imagine, it's been with me for nearly 4 years, and up to now it's still small. Well, that could be no surprise because it's an Ainanta Druid hybrid, so it's expected that Ainanta takes much of the Ainanta form. And this one is interesting. Among the fetus hybrids that I have, this is unique. This is a Capitata Yellow Novaki Eye. So when I got this as a seedling, it's just like any other ordinary single plant. But lucky for me, this was able to take the monstrous form. So from a single plant, it produces a lot of pop. Well, if it's a regular plant, it should be grass pops, but this one, it has a lot of growth. No, I mean, it has a lot of growth point, but it's still considered just as a single plant. So if you want to grow plants into a clump or a ball, this is one good candidate to start with. Okay, so you see how tight the plants are on my rooftop. So the plants are growing all together. They're really uh, jam-packed. So this is a Capitata hybrid. So this is another what's the name? It's from Davao. It says it's a Spero hybrid, so Speracephala hybrid, whatever that could be. These are my Xerographica pops, growing strong. And I have the giants also living here. So just a glimpse. So this is my huge, guess what? Of course, you see the bands. Those bands. This is a huge hill day. So this is a terrestrial. This is actually a terrestrial Tillandsia. You can grow them on ground, but make sure it dries up easily. So I decided to pot this up. Here's the pot, and then the substrate or growing medium is just rocks, or like what they call the akadama, or akadama rocks or soil, whatever that be. And we have here Capitata Yellow Silver Torch. So the weird thing is about Tillandsias, when they are small, they might look very similar to each other. So better keep the tags because you are at a loss when you lost your tags. So here another Capitata hybrid. So okay, and this one is a Ariza prunosa. Ariza prunosa. This is of course Xerographica. So sometimes if when you become a hardcore Tillandsia enthusiast, even without the tags, you might be able to name your plants, especially if it's species. But then if you're talking about hybrids that the parentage are almost nearly the same and you lost your tags, it's very hard to identify which is which until such a time that they grow into a mature blooming plant. Okay, so what else do we have here? Well, so this is a bulbosa. So it's been with me for several years, and I was able to get few pops below, and then as you can see, it's starting to develop the stem, or what they call a coalescent. This is a coalescent form. So any ordinary looking bulbosa can look great when you're able to grow it into a tall plant. So it enjoys the company of other bigger plants above. So since this is a forest Tillandsia, so it enjoys a lot of shade. And next to it, this is the ever popular Malidophytas. I got this from Tita Durin, I think last year. And so far, this is the biggest Malidophytas under my care, because the others already set bloom. So that's how far that I can grow them. But for this one, it has grown big. I mean, this is the biggest, I should say, so far. But I've seen the biggest Malidophytas at Flora Botanica when we were able to visit them before the pandemic. I think it's last year. So to compare and see how huge it is, here's my finger in comparison with the leaves of the Malidophytas. So what's the trick how you get to grow big plants? You have to grow them under shade. So as you can see, it's huge, but then it's now starting to lose the red or maroon tinge in color. But come the blooming season, it will start to color up, and I will have to expose it to intense sun to get more of the color. But for now, the goal here is to produce bigger plants, so I'll be just happy with a green huge Malidophytas. And this is another Malidophytas. So I'm not quite sure about the form, if there's two forms of Mali, because this one is more upright and the other one below is more slender, and it has a tendency to recurve a bit. But comparing the two, this one is really up there. So this is So this is a Dominiensis by Streptophila. So it's growing soft, long leaves that tends to curl when dehydrated. So as you can see, the culture that I have here is wet. So instead of ending up with something like a curly air plant, I only have a recurved one. But this is this is one of my favorite hybrids. Actually, this is not my plant. A friend of mine, Benhar, let it stay for me because he moved somewhere else, and I had to take care of his plants just to make sure to keep them alive. Although there are some casualties, but nevertheless, I am glad that I was able to keep the best alive. this area of the garden is covered under a UV film and a single net. So it's a growing area for both air plants and cacti, some succulents. And the weird thing here is I'm growing ferns together with the succulents. So now I'm not sure if I'm really growing them under dry condition, because as you can see there are a few ferns growing around together with the aloe. But I had a problem with this aloe marlotii during the rainy season, so it started to rot, but then I'm glad that it's recovering, but not a big deal at all. It will grow back, I'm sure. And here are some of my old school euphorbias and the rat tail. And I have here a pond. No, it's not a pond, it's like a water container where I grow my duckweed. So that's add up to the moisture above here on the rooftop. So on top of that, it's a huge Novaki eye. So it's coloring up because it's exposed under a single net. Then what else do I have here? So this is a I forgot the name. Fred Ives. This is a Fred Ives. So it's coloring up right now. Then I have here some Ferrocactus. Whatever it is. This is a Ferrocactus. Some Sansevierias and Tillandsias. Actually, this is more of Tillandsia garden. So I have their blooming Ainantas and also bromeliads. I have here a it's not a samurai, it's a Acnea Shogun. So this is a Shogun. Then the white ball there is a Sweet Isabel. Then I have here colored ones, and here is a multibract. This is a hybrid from the Phytas. It's an Xerographica by Chapensis, one of the nice hybrids from the Phytas. This is a Streptophila hybrid, a cross between, let me see the name, Exerta and Streptophila, and this one is a cross between Concolor and Streptophila. So these are mostly Streptophila hybrids. So this is Curlislim, a Intermedia by Streptophila. This is a Domingensis by Streptophila, and this one is a the Phytas hybrid that is a Nelly Rose by Streptophila, but this one has a prominent Streptophila look on it. That's how I grow my plants here on the rooftop. Then I have here a special plant, one of the only few releases, if I believe. It's another the Phytas hybrid, and it's an Elersiana by Bulbosa. So I got this for almost a year now, and it's growing nicely. And true to its parentage, the Elersiana, it's now sending out several grass pops. But instead of me plucking them out just to make sure that the mother plant would grow faster, I'd rather keep them that way. They're growing until such a time that the grass pop develop a mass that could make them easier to survive, detach from the mother plant. So for hybrids that are very few in the market right now, I'd rather grow them slowly and grow them, propagate them faster than sacrificing the grass pops just to make sure that I grow the mother plant fast and see its final form. So when you grow air plants, you have to decide which side of the group you are in. Are you a grower, someone, a collector who wants to, who is eager enough to see your plants to grow fast and check out how it looks like on its matured form? Or are you a casual hobbyist who wants to keep a lot of plants, even if it's small, just to propagate them and enjoy growing them in no hurry, and just enjoy how nature would take its course to really grow your plant uh, in the most natural way? So you just have to decide. But nevertheless, plants in general needs fertilizers because in the wild they get the nourishment in nature, wherein there are birds, natural leaf litter around the area, or maybe natural uh, moisture from the mountain. But when you grow the plants here in your garden, which is unnatural, they would thrive without any add-ons like fertilizers, but expect that your plants would grow a bit slower than usual. So it's just really up to you which what's your goals in growing your plants. But nevertheless, just do whatever that would make you happy, or the culture that's suitable for your um, lifestyle, because otherwise it might become a burden instead of a leisurely act of um, relaxing in your garden. So hopefully you get the idea on how it is like to be a plant addict. So sorry. Uh, Actually, I'm running out of space. But the good thing about air plants, you can tie them in this manner, layered, just like a curtain. So you maximize your space. And below, my terrestrials, these are the cacti and succulents. They're thriving quite well. So this is the glimpse on how I was able to grow several plants all at the same time. I hope you get an idea on how you can maximize your place for growing and grooming your plants. So whatever it is, even if it's a terrestrial, aerial, or even water plants. So that will be all for now, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell button so you'll be able to get updates every time that I post something new in this channel. Happy gardening!